forces of the world unite. It's time to roar, to fight the fight against the puppet masters pulling strings. We'll strip away the power, hear our piercing screams. We won't be silenced anymore. Break free from the chains that they adore. Stand tall, unrigging the game we rise. We'll win reality from their lies. Unrig the game, unleash the fury. No longer slaves to their corrupt machinery.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Unrig the Game. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you are all doing and living well. Let me start this evening out by thanking all those winners in the winner's circle who make it happen. Your names are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much for being part of the solution. And a special thanks to Shelly and Wolfram who support us over on Rumble as well. We are broadcasting live tonight on Rumble, YouTube, and X as always. And away we go. Welcome back to Unrig the Game. I know we weren't here last week, and I really always hate missing an episode of this because it's really the good, important work that we're doing, learning about these root cause issues and discussing solutions, which is what we do here from all kinds of different angles. As we are now on our 5th book, Government Gangsters by Kash Patel, and this one is probably one of the shorter books we're reading, and so we've got about, I think, 3 episodes left on this. Just the way that it's set up, I think we got about maybe 3, maybe 4 episodes left. So the time will come shortly where we need to start discussing our next book. And we have a couple that are already on deck. And I usually go out and find one more and make it a choice between 3. I take your advice into consideration, then I make the best call. So, so far, so good. I think we've done really well with these books. Of course, we've hit a lot of home runs with this as well, like Big Intel by J. Michael Waller, Control Oligarchs by Seamus Bruner, and this Kash Patel book has been amazing as well. So I hope you guys are really enjoying it as much as I am. But yeah, I hate taking a week off because I feel like people kind of miss us, right? They don't know that they forget where we're at and on this whole thing. So oh yeah, Monday nights we do the reading. We read Monday nights, so we'll give a nice long warm-up tonight and give people time to catch the notifications, see the community note, catch the ads, wherever you guys find out about the show, and get on in here so we can get back to reading. We'll be wrapping up part 3 tonight with chapters 11 through 13. And this, of course, is about the NSC and intelligence communities. And so we'll be wrapping those up tonight. That's this chapter, this part 3. We're moving to part 4 and part 5 next week, and then part 6 with the concluding chapters and solution talk coming at the end. And this is the kickoff show, by the way, if I hadn't mentioned it. And so what we do here is we hang out for about 45 minutes to an hour and just chill with the crowd. And then we cover things, talk about what's going on today or whatever's relative to the topic. And then we leave YouTube and we stay exclusively on X and Rumble for the readings because YouTube doesn't like Audible, and Audible is how we read. So that's what we do. If you're on the rewatch or just catching this on the YouTube side, you can always check the description or the live chat pinned in the comments soon to be will be the links to the full program. The full program is over on Rumble. There's a great playlist top of the description where you can catch every single episode of this series. And if you look on the playlist section in Rumble, you can have one of those, by the way, in case you didn't know. You can also check out all the other books we've done, like Control Oligarchs, Big Intel, Great Awakening, and Woking. And if you haven't caught any of those books, you can catch up on those too. Reading is good, and learning, in this type of way is a great addition to how we do it normally as well. So, we're really diving into root issues here and getting expert insight into these topics and getting different opinions on how to approach resolving these issues that have troubled our society for so long. In fact, we were all born into it. That's how long it's been going on at this point. But we are at a great point in time where we are so close to turning this thing around, and it's important that we do it right. So again, I want to thank all the people that are joining us. Let me say hello to this awesome crowd out there. Heidi, how you doing? And welcome to the show. Thank you for all these. And Wolfram, my friend, how you doing? Thank you for dropping these links. Remember, when you're here, to always listen to the wolf. He knows what he's talking about. He wipes his paws, he lopes in, and he howls. And that's how you know the alpha mod is in the house. There's Shelly talking trash and truths, making comments and saying hello to everybody as they come in. She's the hostess with the most, is giving out big old hugs. And she has a channel too. Make sure you're subscribed to her YouTube and Rumble channels, as she does shows on Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m., 12. Just subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll know exactly when she goes. I believe it's 12. All right. And there it is right there. Wolfram's all over it. And there is the Outpost Nerd. How's it going, Outpost Nerd? Hope you're doing well. We got Scott Free Freedom in the house. Ooh, what's up, man? How you doing, Scott Free Freedom? How's it going up there in Canada? You guys got all kinds of things going on. You got all kinds of things going on up there. And I hope that things are turning around for you guys super quick. Super quick. Good to see you, my friend Scott Free Freedom. Awesome. Always awesome to have Scott Free Freedom with us. Awesome. Have you been following the book, Scott? Are you well, even if you aren't, I'm happy that you're here at the kickoff show to hang out with us and send that Scott Free Freedom love out to everybody. We really do appreciate you, Scott, and we're happy that you're here. Good friend of the channel, Scott Free Freedom. And there is his link to his Scott does live streams and talks about issues pertaining to Canada and other important topics. He's on the same quest as us. That is, let's fix this place and have a better future for everybody. That's right. That's right. Oh, guys, what is going on? What's going on a Monday? Did you guys have a good weekend? I had a good weekend. I definitely had a good weekend. I had a great weekend, actually. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. It's great because, as if you didn't know, my team, it will be going to the Super Bowl. That's right. We're back, baby. We're back. It's cold. Convoy Freedom Union. And all right. They're having another convoy? That's awesome. Oh, the reunion. I haven't seen anything reported. Neither have I. They're hiding it from us, Scott. You got to tell us about what's going on. You got to tell us about what's going on. Speaking about what's going on in the news, I've let's see. Well, maybe we can do that for the pre-show. I'm going to go grab that. I got to do it soon. Actually, I might do that Tuesday. A lot of stuff, man. It's good. It's picking up again. And I've been thinking about how to deal with the uptick in news and other topics that we've been covering. But I did want to say that the House did pass the Lincoln Riley Act. I know that's a couple days old. So Trump will definitely sign this. And in this one, it mandates the detainment of unauthorized migrants accused of theft and violent crimes. It passed very strongly. I don't know who the 156 people are that voted against such a great piece of legislation. But unfortunately, there are idiots out there still that we will have to they will age out in time. We have to make sure that we have a more healthy, more well-educated, less subverted crop of young Americans to replace them. That's the key. That is the key for here. That is the key for Canada, by the way, too. That is the key everywhere around the world to erase the mind virus known as the evil ideology of Marxism that has infiltrated itself and disguised itself in so many different forms, ideologically subverting us generation by generation around the world. This disease, this mind virus, has been in existence for quite a long time now. And when you think about how ridiculous its inception is and how it's spread so far, it's quite amazing. But the whole ideology itself is a grift, right? It is a manipulation from page one of the Communist Manifesto and so on. It is a complete manipulation to get people to believe that there's this paradigm that exists and that they must fight against their own best interest in order to somehow be in control of things and make things. I guess they think they're going to be, rich or don't have to worry about anything, right? Without having to do anything. It's a ideology for people who have not learned how to critically think deeply, and that's why they hit us with it so young. They get people into the idea that people are out to get them, and really it's them that are out to get them. People teaching them that from square one. So that's why it's such a grift, like all grifters do. They rope you in, making you think that you're part of something that is the opposite of what it is supposed to do, right? It's a grift, and that's the way it is. So Marxism is a grift, but it's a very effective and has been a very effective means of mind control and subversion for decades and decades and decades, and I'm going on a century probably now. So we have to go to that root cause and figure out how to get rid of that, and that's what unrigging the game is about. You understand the rigged game so you can unrig it, right, Scott? Yeah, man. Anniversary reunion coming up. So yeah, the Lincoln Riley Act did pass, and so you can bet that President Trump will be signing that into law, which is great. Now, last Tuesday, I did show you guys Trump's speech to Davos 2025. As in, this is the way it's going to be, and you're going to like it. Or you're going to hate it, but you're still going to have to deal with it. He went there and told them all their bullshit was on the way out, and we ain't doing it anymore. And we got 4 years to make that all happen, and then we need to make sure that for the next 4 to 8 years after that, we continue to back that up. I really don't see a reason for there ever to be another Democrat president. This isn't about appeasing people who have been subverted to make them happy. It's no. We're done with that. The Democrat Party is completely corrupted and useless at this point. Nothing they do turns out well or good. It's all band-aids, mirrors, and smoke, and inevitably their policies turn places into nightmares. And they do the opposite of what they're intended to do. They break people when they're trying to help people. They make people worse when they're trying to make people better. That's how evil is. Evil inverts everything. Yes, it does. But Argentina's Milei went to Davos and had a similar speech to Trump's, but really went after the wokeism stuff, said woke globalist left is starting to crumble. Argentina's Milei says in Davos speech. So I would like to go over that with you at some point as well. And like I said, with so much going on right now, between the different things that we're covering, we need more time together to get it all worked out. So that being said, trying to figure out ways to make that happen. It may be that we uptick winning tonight to 3 nights, and we do a Friday show now weekly. It's under consideration. The other thing is that Unveiling Reality has now taken on the mission of watching out over. Hey, Scott, what's up? Scott meets Scott. Scott, do you know Scott? Scott, there's Scott. we got and you should know Scott. There you go. But that's we're taking a look at the UFO alien rabbit hole grift from two different angles now, and it's become very interesting. It's become very interesting because you got in one case predominant generational grifter Stephen Greer out there, still pushing his fantastic stories about things that are questionable, that if he's ever been involved with or not. This emergency room doctor turned UFO expert who pretends like he's in the military or as some kind of military person. And he puts on this act like he's some kind of military guy. And I bet to the untrained eye, people think that, well, this guy probably was in the military at some point. He probably was a military doctor without people really looking into his past and understanding that he was just this hippy dippy dude, doctor that probably took a lot of drugs and sat around meditating and believed that he was abducted by aliens who gave him this power and this understanding, and he was special because of it, and that he did co-created protocols for SE5 or Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, right out of Hollywood, isn't it? But yeah, we got his narrative where he's trying to co-opt a different narrative that's going on in News Nation between a guy named Russ Cutlet or Cuthart. Ross gonna grift you, and this Jake Barber guy and his crew, Skywatchers, and they're going on. It's very interesting because you can watch the parallels between the two and see really the anatomy of a grift going on here. And something I still feel in my gut, something's going to shake out about this that's going to either take one of them or both of them out at some point in terms of their ability to pull this kind of bullshit over. But I do have a lot of material on that, and more so that the unveiling reality shows are starting to go for like almost 4 hours. So really, when I get to the 3 hour mark, I kind of want to keep it at that, because I realize I asked I'm asking my crowd to be here hanging out for a long time, and I don't want to monopolize people's time. However, I do want to give them the very best. So I think what may be happening with that is we may need to be breaking that into two different shows, because there's so much material. Like I have another 2 to 3 or 4 hours of just interview stuff to go through with you right now, right? To keep up with it. And you know how those interviews go when I do them, right? I break them down. I stop them sometimes at the end of every sentence and comment or describe something. It's all about diving deep and slowing these people down so they can't, use their word manipulation on you. It's like, so that you can actually break down the anatomy of their grifts. And to this point, we still have yet to see anything conclusive coming out of them, except for a bunch of really, and I say unbelievable, I mean, not believable, weird footage that is on par with most of the UFO alien rabbit hole BS that's out there. So we are learning a lot on that, and I figured that there's so much interest in it, right? There's got to be a space for those people that are actively watching it and discerning it with real logic and with real with a real true approach to analysis. So I think that the way that it may end up going down is that we may be doing this on Sundays, and maybe really scaling back old school watching 3 weeks of this. I don't know. I'm still trying to work it out in my head how it's going to go, but that would continue, and then Shelley would co-host that with me, and we could have a different person on for Sundays to kind of add to it. I don't know how much we get through. If we do, we'll do it our best, because it's probably going to be three on Wednesday and 3 on Sunday. So that gives you 6 hours a week of degrifting and going through this alien UFO rabbit hole, drone rabbit hole stuff that these guys are putting out, right? And really breaking it down and understanding why they really have no reason to deserve your trust on this. We have yet to come across anything. I know there's people out there that are very much into the fact that they want it to be true to the point where they're willing to believe or take things on faith. That's not kind of how we do it here. It's not that I'm necessarily trying to break these guys down. It's that I'm just going by what they say. Like I say, I'm not here to confirm your bias, but I am here to walk with you to the truth, and that's what we're going to do. That's our approach, because it's better to know the truth than to go on believing that you're right about something that's not true, right? And that's how grifters get you. They want you to believe that you're right about something that's not true, and then not look into it. Just listen to them. Same goes for the establishment, right? They're very similar in the way that they work, because mind control is very simply done the same way. It's just, what are you going to focus on, right? So, and people have a hard time with that idea of mind control, because they think it means everything, when it really can just mean a little thing, right? Are you being blocked from doing the deeper research on questioning and vetting your own belief systems? That's a form of mind control, right? That'll keep you boxed into the narrative, which is what we see predominantly on the establishment, in the first veil in the establishment narrative. That's how all of our friends, family, and other people that we know, we see out there, and all these idiots that go out there and make videos, basically exposing themselves as mind control victims. That's the condition that they're stuck in. And we can study that, and we can look at it. You take that to the next level and add in a healthy dose of distrust of government and sources and everything else like that, which is rightfully so in many cases. Of course, with this whole system's been corrupted. So you add in a heavy dose of that to the people that are like in the abyss, and then you have this lethal combination of having someone that's escaped one veil and then succumb to another. And anyway, so they work similarly. And it's important to teach people the skills to discern past these things, I believe. Plant the seeds, and they may not like it at first. They may not believe it at first. They may resist it at first. But when they see themselves becoming what they once were under the establishment narrative, a lot of times that is the moment of clarity we're shooting for, that really, truly wakes them up for good and helps them become part of the solution moving forward out of the realm of ignorance, which is the first veil, the stubbornness in the second veil, to decide that it's not worth listening to people who can't prove what they're talking about, that only incite an anxiety, paranoia, and fear in their life on a daily basis, to asking, well, where are your solutions? How are we supposed to fix this? You've had me wound up for years now over these topics. How are we supposed to actually get something done about this? Because all we do is talk about it. And that's the tragedy of the second veil, in that there are no solutions in the second veil. You have to go beyond that veil of paranoia, anxiety, and fear in order to get to where you are going to be effective, and your mind is going to be on long-term solutioning, which will then cure this kind of thing. So that's what we're doing here, and that's what we're talking about. So I'm trying to think of how we're going to schedule things going forward. Now, speaking of schedules, as I'm in housekeeping mode here, this week should be very, very active. In fact, yeah, it's going to be one of those weeks. Let me see here. Let me check on this. It's going to get bright for a second here. Bright light. Oh, I hate this. I hate non-dark mode pages. All right. So I heard Cash got scheduled. Oh, let me do this. This thing is so damn bright. Oof. Hello? There we go. All right, cool. It's like a freaking light, man. Let me see. If anybody knows the day Cash is supposed to go, I know. Let's see. Panama. There's a hearing about Panama Canal this week. Doesn't matter. We're going to take it back. 29 and 30. Let's see. 29, they're going to have a busy day on the 29th. Oh, go back one. All right. 28. They move things? Did you guys move things on me? I heard this week, Kash Patel, JFK, and here we go. Kaship Patel. That's his full name. That's the 30th. Tulsi Gabbard, 30th. Wow. This is going to be tough. Robert F. Kennedy, the 30th. They're all going to go on the same day now. Hold on. That's the hearing to examine nomination. Hearing to examine, oh my goodness. They put them all on the same day. Because I swear to God, one of them was on the 29th. Bright light. Okay. Hearing to examine the nomination of JFK Jr. is the 29th. We're going to check in on that one. That's the finance, 29th. 30th, hearing to examine nomination of JFK Jr. of health, education, and labor. Wow. He's got to go through two different ones. I guess I've really just been covering one. Intelligence hearing of Tulsi Gabbard. That one's supposed to be pretty heated. Kash Patel, that's going to be out there, right? That's 30th. Wow. It starts at 9:30 a.m. So that means we're probably starting around 9, or I've been starting about half an hour early on that. All right. So about 9, and we'll work it out. So, but Thursday and Friday, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be busy. Thought Cash was on this week. He is. Yeah, they just added it. So yeah, of course, we're going to have a busy week of a lot of watching and a lot of irritating people asking questions. But these are the ones we wanted to see. I don't know how we're going to do JFK and Tulsi at the same time, though. Maybe we'll just go with maybe what we'll do is we'll go with the 29th version of JFK, right? Or RFK. I'm going to say it wrong sometimes. And then we'll, we got to do Cash. I think Cash is more important. They're both really important, but I think Cash is going to be the one we're probably going to focus on Thursday. And then I believe we're going to have to probably do a back-to-back, right? Probably gonna have to go back-to-back. And then what we'll do is when that's done, we'll take a break, and probably winning tonight, start about maybe a little bit earlier, and we'll go through however long the Tulsi Gabbard stuff is. So I have to go back-to-backs. I don't know how else to do it. Or do you think what do you guys think? I can put it off and we can make that a Friday day stream where we just kind of come back and do a Friday day stream for Tulsi, pretend like it didn't happen the night before, and watch it ourselves. When things are going live like this, I mean, I really feel like the live watch is the way to go, but there's only so much you can do, right? I can't do two at the same time. I mean, I could probably watch both at the same time, but I can't stream both at the same time and make it something that's cohesive and understandable for my crowd, right? So I don't know, guys. Throw some ideas at me in the chat. What works for you? Because I'm here for you. And tell me what works for you as far as watching these this week. If there's any ideas, this is your time to add to it. All kinds of just Cash is this week. One each day. Take a day. One would take a day. Yeah, right. We got to do RK. But if he's doing 2 in a row, then that means that you got another one to watch, right? It could be that, I don't know. I don't have a Saturday show this week. No Saturday show. And of course, I will have a Sunday show this week. I don't know what it's going to be, though. It could be a new show that is a spinoff of what we're doing on Wednesdays. Could be that I just decided to put another Unveiling Reality on Sundays, which may be what Unveiling Reality with Shelly or something. It probably should be that, because I started the series under the Unveiling Reality, show. And then if I had two different shows, it could be kind of like, I don't know. I'm going back and forth from this too. I'm just kind of like, I'm working things out in front of you here on the stream. So at the kickoff show today. And by the way, if you're here to read the book, you just have to scroll, rewatching, just go ahead about probably 30 minutes and you're going to see the beginning of the book when the avatar returns to read with you. That's when the book starts. I always feel kind of strange. Like I got the kickoff show and I know I got a lot of rewatchers because I see who clicks into the videos. I don't want to lose you guys on the kickoff show if you're here to read the book, but if you enjoy the kickoff show, that's great too, man. I appreciate that. That's, the kickoff show I do really for the live crowd. And sometimes it's like I'm just chatting like this, and sometimes I'm going to show you some stuff, but I am going to show you some stuff. I believe we can do it this way and it still makes sense. I do like to show a little something, but let me get this housekeeping done first, and then we'll talk about it. When Kennedy went before Congress before the election, the Democrats tried to censor him and failed badly. I will be in the office Thursday, so I may be late. The move shouldn't take too long. Okay. To Thursday is that's usually the night we do morning tonight. So and again, one of those shows could pick up it too. And we could end up doing on those shows. Like during the day, it's usually I call it breaking news or whatever, lack of a better name for the day show. But breaking news also kind of like is about live, right? It's about the live stuff. Really generic name, really just dialing that one in. Maybe one day I'll do a little bit better with that, but it works. We got a catchy little intro. So, you guys know what it means. That's all that matters. And new people may check into it and learn about us that way too. So there you go. So a lot of thinking tonight, a lot of umming because I'm thinking I want to be able to bring that. So I'll figure it out. But it seems like to me we're going to double up one day, or we're not going to have a lot of news reports this week. We just have a lot of observing these hearings. But there's a lot of news to go through, so I don't want to skip that either. It's just too much to do unless I'm just streaming all day long. I guess some things I just got to let go. But there's a lot of stuff building in the 2025 folder, which is just the daily stuff. And then I put it together into the Winning Tonight shows. A lot of stuff building, a lot of interesting things. I guess maybe I can skip over sometimes, but a lot of things like that. Some things get pushed over to the good news category, but I'm not doing a Winning Saturday Night. So this week, I don't know. I got to figure something out. I got to figure out how to put more hours in a day. And that's always hard, isn't it? That's always a tough one to do. All right. So then I want to play this before or after. Kind of feel like I want to play this after. Yeah, because we have to like make room. We have this interview, the Sean Ryan show about 4 months ago with Kash Patel. It's like an hour. It's almost 2 hours, which could be good end of show content for the next 3 weeks. But I don't think we'd actually get to the end of it. That's something I'm thinking about too. Well, let's listen to this up front so we can get ready for the book tonight. Let's do this. We're gonna do it. All right. So in case you didn't hear this, and I'm sure it was easy to miss. At Trump's inauguration celebration, Kash Patel did get up and speak. It's a very short speech, about 8 minutes. I don't know if we need to play him on Winning Speed or not. Maybe switch between Maha and Patel during the day and cover Tulsi that night. I guess. I mean, but what are we going to miss if we switch? Like this, that's the whole thing with me about switching back and forth. It's like, what do I miss when I'm not there? Maybe it's something that we wanted to see. That's why I kind of feel like you got to stay focused on it. I don't quite know how to parse that out correctly so that we're not missing anything. Remember to listen to the Wolf. He knows what he's talking about, guys. Hey, by the way, we are speeding towards let's start this. Yes, right there. We're speeding towards 4,800. And so hopefully we'll get there. Sometimes when you start a stream and you don't and you haven't streamed a couple days or you're not gaining subs, it takes one off right when you start. Everybody's seen this thing. So we need to keep climbing here, but we are really close, like 7 more and we're 20 away. So we're 27 away from 4,800. So hopefully some more big events will come by. I'm tell you what, like I told you guys, like I spoke to you guys about on Friday, big news coming down the pike. I'm still working on getting that set up. But if it gets set up, if it comes through, I think it's going to be one of the biggest things we've ever done here, and it may just bring in a lot of new folks to the channel and raise awareness about what we're doing here. It will be phenomenally huge. So, and bigger than Franchi coming on, bigger than a lot of the other people have had coming on, and those were big events. So, we will see. But I'm excited to tell you. I wish I had it locked in right now so I could break the news. But I will be breaking the news as soon as it's locked in. And when that gets done, you'll be the first to know. Well, almost. See, cover T3, cover one, and you cover the other. Well, I don't know. You have to. You could ask her about that, but it's not really what she does on her channel. Even though she comes on and does stuff with me, her channel is different. So maybe have to cover one later so you don't miss important parts. Toss up call. Yeah, I mean, Kash Patel is a definite. He's definite. Right? We're definitely gonna. We read his book. Right? We watched his interviews. We gotta watch this. And I think he's going to be sharp and really lay it out. I think he's going to be like direct and sharp and maybe a lot of call outs going on there. So that's cool. Right. Tulsi's going to be very contentious. There's going to be a lot of attacks on her. I would imagine that's what I'm hearing. From what I'm hearing, seems like there's going to be a lot of attacks on Tulsi. So we'll see. And RFK, there's going to be a lot of attacks on them too. There's going to be I think it's going to be a fountain of information. So I backing him and his initiative with Make America Healthy Again, and Kash Patel doing similar things as Tulsi. I think that Tulsi gets the push to a different a rewatch stream, basically. I think that's the way it's going to go. That's kind of how I have them ranked in terms of importance, and I think they're all equally important in a way. One is curing the disease of government, and one group is, and the other one individual is curing the disease, of in real human existence right now with the way that we treat ourselves, our government treats us with allowing poisons into our food and water, and how we're going to turn that around, how we're going to get people healthy again. That's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's so long overdue. I'm so happy that someone's doing this. And that's the one I think long term is going to be, effective. We need to start that turnaround right now. So I don't know how to pick it out, but hey, Jacob, how you doing? But that seems like we're going to do that and then do the Tulsi one. I guess I'll know once I get through them, what they go like. We're going to do the Tulsi one on a rewatch probably. Now, do we do it the same day or do it the day after? That's the question. Is it still as important and newsworthy? And, I guess if everybody here is watching what we're watching, then you're going to miss Tulsi the same time we will. So as a crowd, we can get back together and we can do it. 2 words, recess appointments. Well, why is that coming up? There we go. Stop. Hey, what's up? All right. 2 recess appointments. You think that's going to go down? Hey, RB, what's up? Just came by to say hi real quick. I'm going to catch the replay when I get caught up on the series. I was a crazy day at work. Saw 40 patients in 8 hours and didn't eat lunch. Going to head to bed early. Well, do that. Take care of yourself. And thank you so much for coming by and saying hello. And thank you for being part of the leader, to lead the rewatch crew. And as you guys know, the best place to rewatch this is going to be on Rumble, because that's where the full show is going to be. Let me and you know, Stephen Greer put out another podcast too. He's got the one with the blue shirt. It's going to be great. Oh my god, guys! The I tell you, the stuff that's coming up on the UFO alien rabbit hole, degrifting we're doing between Barber and News Nation and Ross and Greer. Oh man, some good stuff is coming up. I mean, it's getting good. It's getting good. And I'm not talking about good in terms of they're actually starting to bring you something that's worth a damn. I'm talking about this the outlandishness of what they're talking about. Like what they're invoking is getting really good. I've listened to some of these, and man, oh man, they love to jump that shark. They love to do it. They love it. I thought I already put this in here. I'm gonna take care of this little bit right now. Let's see. That always kind of freaks me out a little bit. Like, I thought I did this already. Why isn't it done? Am I on the right tab? Then I hit save last time. What else did I didn't do right? Well, they done did it right. Okay. Here we go. Here are the links right there for you guys to follow us over when we do the jump and T-Rex trucking and more. How is it going, dude? It comes in swinging on a chandelier. Shelly, everything that happened was a bunch of bullshit. We know that. It always is, right? It always is. Kash wasn't put on a no-fly list, though. Democrat politicians are bitterly seething over Tulsi. Yeah. Yeah, she ran for their nomination, and now she's like, screw you guys. I'm going to where it's based. It's going awful? I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. Look, man. Just remember this.
Affliction and hardship awaits those who resist.
Best of all, I don't pay property tax.
You can't be defeated. You cannot be defeated. There's no defeating the T-Rex. There you go. You can't be beat. Hopefully that pumped you up. Now you're ready to go on. Take them all out. Take them all out. All right, let's get to this. So then we can get on and jumping on over. Here we go. We're going to winning speed it.
My, oh my, how do you follow Elon Musk when he tells you you're going to take you to Mars? I'll tell you how. He and I share something deeply. We love the American dream. And we have been given a gift by God today to usher in a new dynasty, because we just inaugurated Donald J. Trump as our 47th president. And we just inaugurated J.D. Vance as our vice president of the United States. And we did that because the American dream is alive and well, because you chose that our dream can be the dream for our children and the dream for our world. And we are at a crossroads here in America, but our future is bright because you had the courage to stand for your convictions. So I'm humbled here to talk to you about why I love
so
the
bright.
American
I gotta
dream.
wear shades.
My story's pretty simple. It's unique, and some of you share in it. My parents were born and raised in East Africa. My father in the 1970s fled a genocidal dictatorship in Uganda, where he saw 300,000 of his countrymen murdered, where he saw what lawlessness would do if it was allowed to break through the system of constitutional justice. He fled, like so many others. He married my mother. They moved here. They waited in line. They stood in line because the American dream was worth standing in line for.
Indeed.
That dream is woven into the fabric of this nation, and our immigration policy is the greatest policy in the world. And now that we have Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, it will become the greatest policy in the world again. But dreams and hopes aren't enough, my friends. We got to get to work. And we got to accept the realities that too many of you know from your communities. President Trump launched in his first term priorities of national security, law enforcement, economy, and global diplomacy. But now we have to retread some of that. And I'd just like to go over a few of the things that our community has been living under these last few years. In the last calendar year alone, we had 100,000 drug overdoses. In the last calendar year alone, we had over 100,000 rapes. In the last calendar year alone, we had 17,000 homicides. That is unacceptable in 2025 in the United States of America. That is why we need constitutional law and order. When I read the statistic that for the age group of 18 to 45, the #1 cause of death is CCP fentanyl. We are not prioritized to go after the threats that face this country and most of all, that face our future generations. But thank God, we will be starting right now. President Trump and J.D. Vance's leadership and administration will usher in the priorities that I cherished during my 16 years in government service. That we will always, always honor the men and women who wear the cloth of our nation and stand on that wall and tell you nothing's getting by them tonight. And so to them, thank you.
Do it.
To our teachers and our frontline workers and our first responders, y'all choose to show up every single day for our children, for our communities, and we will now show up for you. Thank you for keeping us safe. To the men and women in law enforcement, and maybe I'm biased on this one. Our police officers, our sheriffs, our federal agents are some of the greatest warriors that God has ever created. And we will put them first because they have our backs, and now we will have your backs. I am standing here because of the American dream. I am not standing here because of the color of my skin. I'm standing here because I earned my right on this stage, and you earned your right to be here with me.
There you go. Hi, Kay. How you doing? Good to see you.
And I promise you this,
Cash.
with every
Well put.
fiber of my being, that our law enforcement, that our teachers, that our first responders, that our veterans, that our men and women in uniform who dare to serve this country and put themselves below the rest of our needs will be reprioritized to the top of the heap because they are standing on that wall, and we will not let that light go dark on them.
Get it.
Whether I was a national security prosecutor, a public defender, President Trump's deputy director of national intelligence, his chief of staff at the Department of Defense, or so many other roles that I was humbled and privileged to serve when I swore an oath to that Constitution, which I hope to do so again one day soon. You have my word that you have ushered in a dynasty of change. You have ushered in a dynasty that will allow our children to live this American dream. My American dream. I am living the world's American dream. I am the son of lawful immigrants. We worked our tails off just like you all do, and I'm gonna make you a deal. I promise you I will never quit on your children. I will never quit on their children, because this American dream does not belong to me. It does not belong to them. This American dream belongs to the world.
Yes. But us, but America.
So in closing, I just want to tell you this.
More.
It's pretty cool to be speaking in Capital One Arena right before the boss. You've inspired me beyond words. Your love, your devotion, your commitment to our country, everywhere I go, shows us that we are not only the beacon of hope, but we are the land of constitutional justice. We are the land under Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, where we are going to end the two-tier system of justice. We are going to remove the weaponization of the intelligence community for political purposes, and we are going to put the men and women of America first. So listen, there's just one thing left to do. We all got work to do. We've got the greatest president, the greatest vice president in the history of the world. And so I just need you all to do a little bit more. Every time you see a law enforcement officer, every time you see a veteran, every time you see a teacher, shake their hand. Give them a little bit of your time, because they're giving us all of our time. And don't forget to enjoy the ride, ladies and gentlemen. God bless America. God bless these United States of America. God bless every one of you. I'm living the American dream. My name is Kash Patel, and I ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. Nice. Well put. Well put. Exciting week. We'll be seeing a lot of Kash Patel this week. That's for sure. That's for sure. Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me to say this, Wolfram. Yes. Christy Nome and Hegseth both are confirmed. And I was watching today, I believe Bassett got confirmed as well. was watching the vote. It seemed like it came up. You never know when you're watching these votes. I don't. Cause sometimes, like, you know, these script channels that just play live streams of our politics, and they're like oftentimes from other countries. They just like put them on. They title them one thing, and then there's something else. And by the time you figure out it's not what it is, they're like, you know. But I'm pretty sure I saw Bissett get confirmed as well for Treasury. But Hegseth, yeah, Vance had to cast the tie-breaking vote for Hegseth, and he did. He did it with authority. Yeah, man, he rock and rolled it. Cash is king. Let's go. They should be revisiting Bonnie by the end of the week too. They put her on a 70 hold last week. Yeah, that's what they're doing. A lot of these things, man. You can't hold them for back forever. That's for sure. But yeah, so there we go. Cash is coming in swinging, and we're gonna have a fun week with that for sure. I can't wait to see him just tearing people apart. Blue Lantern, what's up? Hi, everybody. While I fully support the deportation, I keep running into people that hate the migrants, and I try to redirect their hate to the Democrats. The migrants are victims. Yes, good job, Blue. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, man. Keep them based. Keep them based. Make them realize that many of these people are victims, and they were coerced here. Be sure to mention the UN's involvement in this, and the globalist involvement, the WEF's involvement, Soros involvement, you know, the next level of involvement. You talk about, you can refer them to some of the streams I've done, or just flat out the documentaries. Like Line in the Sand. I don't know. You probably heard me talk about this. It's paywalled now. I don't have a non-paywalled version to give you. But if you are on the Tucker Carlson network, you can give out 5 free watches. Look at you give out 5 free watches to people. So maybe you find some people that maybe are open-minded enough to re-examine their belief, and throw them that free link, a free showing of Line in the Sand, because that it really shows how these people are being exploited. Like it humanizes the individuals being manipulated into coming here. And then it shows exactly what happens to them once they get here, thanks to the Democrats. And it'll reinforce your point and your direction of redirection, reinforce that redirection that you're trying to accomplish, which is right. I would go a step further though and start calling it the corrupt establishment, because the true paradigm, Blue, is the establishment versus the rest of us. And if you're awake, aware, and resisting, you're part of the anti-establishment. You're home right here. You're part of the solution. But a lot of people still see the left-right paradigm, right? And that's the way the people that are under the influence of the establishment narrative tend to view things. And they tend to view it from a very old perspective of it. They still buy into the old false left-right paradigm when the neocons were in charge of the right, and they were playing the heels in this WWE match of face versus heel, when really they're both working for the same team, right? And so as I've said oftentimes, the story is Ron Paul Revolution was instrumental in uncovering and exposing the false left-right paradigm and waking people up to that fact. But the true paradigm, it really is, if you think about it, if you really, really drill down on it and question to the void on it, it really is the establishment versus the rest of us. So anybody that's not a useful, I mean, it's even, they're useful. They're against their useful idiots. They're against everybody that's beneath them, because they're elitists. And elitists have the mind virus of elitism, meaning that everybody, no matter what color, race, lifestyle choice, whatever you're beneath them, because you just are. You're the animal. You're the useless eater, right? They're the best. They're the ones. They're the smart ones. They deserve to tell us what to do because they are better than us. That is elitism. And that's how these globalists operate. These altruists, these fake altruists, right? So do that. And there's also the Muckraker documentary, which is a little bit easier it's very easy to get a hold of. And it's a great entry point. So the Muckraker documentary, and it's just, I have it on, I did a stream on it. I did the full showing on it. It's over there on X. I've shown it twice now, actually, but the other one was mixed in with the Line in the Sand documentary, which got taken down and I got struck for. So, which I think just wore off. Yeah, it actually wore off. It's gone. It's gone. Goodbye. All right. So, but yeah, those are 2 great ways to do it, man. So thanks for sharing that, Blue, and keep up the good work, keep up being the great work, being part of the solution, and just don't try to push them back into that left right paradigm. Is my advice. My advice is as elevate their understanding, give them something new to look at, and what's a more truthful look at reality, and pull back the veil for them. And so it's not just the Democrats, right? The Democrats are the headquarters of the corrupt establishment. However, if they had it their way, the neocons would be back in charge of the right, and they'd be stomping out any type of resistance to their rule. As you remember, at one point, it was almost Bush, Clinton, and then they came in, and if you look at what went down with that, they decided it was time to move in the hardcore Marxist and start, because see, part of the Agenda 20, what was Agenda 21 going to be 2030, soon to be 2030, was the implementation, the next step, the next levels of implementation of critical theory, which became critical race and gender theory. And Obama was the right person to get that done, as well as a lot of other things. He was more charming and more appealing. You could still have Clinton there as Secretary of State, still with the Clintons had their fingers and everything, and the Biden. Then you got the Bidens. So now you got a bunch of corrupt establishment elitists all on the same team, destroying America together. They figured it would be a better plan, and they went with that. So at that time it was Bilderberg that made that call, right? So they got there and they had a little meeting. They said and honestly, that's the only way Barack Obama got the super delegates. Now you got to understand how the election game works on the Democrat side. They already picked their nominee. The whole voting and that's all just for show. That's just to get people in under the umbrella. And then the idea is each one takes the knee and hands off their support to who was already picked to be the nominee at that juncture. And that's the way they work. So whoever controls the super delegates gets the nomination, and the rest of it's just a dog and pony show. And unfortunately, most Democrats don't even understand that. They don't even see it. They don't get it. They screwed Bernie. Well, you're still there. You're still there dealing with them. Mr. Anti-Establishment, Bernie Sanders, took the knee twice. Took the knee twice. You didn't see Ron Paul taking any knees when he was defeated twice by the neocons. He didn't take a knee and say, "Oh, go vote for Romney, go vote for McCain." Nope. Nope. People are writing his name in anyways. We wrote his name in anyways. So yeah, none of that BS. Anyways, so that's the thing. The super delegates are anti-democracy. Bernie betrayed his own supporters when he didn't expose the super delegate system like he could have. Well, yeah, he exposed it by being part of it. What he betrayed his supporters when he took a knee to it. We knew about the super delegates on the Democrat side back in the Ron Paul days. Bernie Sanders got his grassroots thing going on. They basically, here's the thing. Basically, the left and all those people were super jealous of the Ron Paul revolution, because we were taking on the neocons, and a lot of them came over actually and voted for Ron Paul in the primaries. Like, people are like, "Oh, don't cross lines, and that's wrong. You're doing this." No. I was always like, you know what? It's strategy. It's called a strategy vote, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's a good thing. So I didn't give people a hard time on the other side for trying to do the same thing when they didn't want Trump. It's just part of the game. It's part of the game. You shouldn't be bringing people in to do this. It's been done forever. It's like, but see, when you have people that are coming from the left that don't like the neocons, that were trying to help us defeat the neocons, that's a good thing, because eventually one day they may come around and realize, oh man, my side's totally corrupt. And that's what the Bernie Sanders thing really did, is it gave it a chance to be exposed that side was that corrupt, right? And the shameful thing is that so many of them so many of them just stayed right where they were and did as they were told. And that should tell them that they're not in control of their own mind in many aspects of it, because they said, well, we got to do this to defeat Trump. And it's just like, no, you should have been like, I'm not part of this anymore. If I can't vote by consciousness, I'll go vote a third party, or I'll write Bernie in or something, just do what you wanted to do there. That was a real solution. But Bernie taking the knee, it wasn't exposing the superdelegate system. That thing was already in place. That thing was happening a long time ago. And that's the way it's always been done. We really exposed the superdelegate system back in the Ron Paul days, because we had to understand the delegate system on our side to try to figure out a way to beat the neocons. We didn't have the money and the resources, and we didn't have a candidate that was as bold in his words as Trump. And see, Trump made the difference when he came in, because one, he had an endless supply of campaign financing through his own pocket, right? And he didn't have to be beholden or ask anybody else. Ron Paul wouldn't take money from anybody. It was all grassroots money bomb stuff, $5, $10, donations. He did it first. He did it all first. Didn't get the credit he deserves, right? But he did. And so, we knew how the delegate system worked. In fact, we were trying to run the delegate game on them, right? Something that Ted Cruz tried to do against Trump, which was totally wrong. Like he realizes the error of his ways now, but we were trying to run the delegate game on them, as in using the law to appoint our own delegates, and because of an unfair kind of system that was set up. I mean, the way they were treating Ron Paul, they almost didn't have him in some debates. It's like, why would you? They were downplaying his numbers. They were rigging the polls. And then they were blocking our delegates that we elected. But what we did by electing those delegates, even though they blocked a lot of them, and they still stole the elect. They literally locked the doors and wouldn't let them in. I mean, there's a lot of stories that me and Liberty Unleashed were talking about that when I interviewed him, like the how they were locking the doors and not allowing our delegates to go in and vote. And while it's a hard strategy to run and be effective with, it was something, and it taught us the delegate game. So the Ron Paul revolutionaries became very educated on how the electoral college delegate system worked, and that helped prepare us for future leadership down the road. But by getting people to run out and become delegates and become elected to those positions, right? What we did was we set up a base that was already in place for when Trump ran. Things were going a little bit more. It was being watched a little bit more fairly, and we had a lot of liberty-minded people already in place. So that really helped out a lot. So, like I said, our success in 2016 and 2024 was greatly aided by the Ron Paul revolution runs in 2008 and 2012. Those things set up so much for us in terms of education, waking people up, getting people involved, getting people educated on how things work, and really getting a pulling back the veil of the false left right paradigm that we had all been born into. Very important times, and I could talk about it all night. But yeah, Bernie was all like the millionaires and billionaires are the problem, until he sold a book and became a millionaire, bought 2 more houses, and now only the billionaires are the problem. Yeah, or the multi-billionaires, really. He's talking about that. Yeah, Bernie Sanders, the master of slander pander. He slanders, then he pandas. He slander pandas, right? That's the way Bernie works. If you ever listen to his speeches, I used to dissect them like I do Greer, right? I'm like, here he goes. Watch. Here comes the pattern, right? He had a distinct pattern to his stump speeches. And this is slander, and then the panda, and then panda, and then slander, little panda. Then comes when you mix them together, Yeah, that is old Bernie, communist Bernie Sanders. And some people are like, I like him, Well, he acted like he was going to vote for Bissett, and he didn't. I think he, on some things he can be reasonable about. It's not going to be nothing that doesn't play into his agenda. Even like the audit, the Fed he was doing with Ron Paul and Rand Paul at one point. As soon as Ron was retired, he went in there and tried to change it around and some bullshit to the point where Ron was like, I'm not part of this anymore. Pull out of it. So that's the kind of guy he is. Sneaky and slimy and all kinds of things. All right. What we got out here? It's more stuff. So Blue, man, I hope that helped out a lot, man. Again, Line in the Sand and the Muckraker Southern Border documentary. I got them both on my channel. I think I did Unveiling Reality I'm pretty sure it was Unveiling Reality for the Muckraker documentary. You can just go to their YouTube page and look it up. It's a brilliant documentary where they take the walk from Ecuador to the southern border, right? They get abducted by drug cartels at the end. So not a spoiler, but it's like, you show how dangerous it is. But also along the way, they document all the different variety of people that are coming across. It's not just people from South America or Mexico. It's people from Asia, people from India, people from the Middle East, people from Ukraine and Russia. I mean, there's all kinds of people coming through. But what it really documents is how the globalists are enabling it, how they're helping them along the way. They put up maps, they give them all kinds of things to help them get there, tell them how to work with it, tell them how to game the refugee system in our country. I mean, literally, mega donor class funding and a globalist funding coming down and working in all the way up the route to make sure these people come invade our country and break it. Tell me that's not a conspiracy. I mean, you want conspiracies? I'll give you real ones all day long. You know, you don't have to worry about even all these grifts that are out there. I'll show you which ones those are, but I'll show you the real conspiracies and give you some real things to go do, man. It's like, you know, stand behind these things, stand against these things, be part of the solution. That's what we do. Hang on one second. All right, I'm back. I'm back. There it is. All right, guys. Who else we got in here? Blue. See, I think 90% of Democrats don't understand the super delegates. Even the Democrat base. Well, no. I mean, and what you got to do is the way you explain that to them is just use the Bernie Sanders example, right? Use the Bernie Sanders example. They don't understand it. Bernie bent the knee. He could have led a major reform, but he never actually cared. Nah, man. You know, I don't know. He couldn't have ever reformed shit. Honestly, I mean, Marxism never works out in the end. If anything, he's old school, bought into the ideology. He's been subverted by it since he was very young. It's now ingrained in his belief system that somehow Marxism comes out the way it's promised. That's the grift of Marxism. It doesn't come out the way it's promised. They sell you a story to get you to buy in, to own your hearts and minds. It's all about manufacturing consent, adopting their hearts and minds, owning their hearts and minds, right? But what they end up doing is giving away their property and their rights, their human rights, their property, and their labor to government, and with the promise that they will have a say, but they don't. Because see, some pigs are more equal than others, right? That there be equality, but some pigs are more equal than others. That's a lesson of Animal Farm, if you remember that book, right? Some pigs are more equal than others, and as Yuri says, you know, so some are more equal than others, but some are better. We're all equal, but some are more equal than others. He says the same thing. I really need to sit down and go through Yuri quotes and this. The problem is I run out of space because I only have so many media assets. I got all kinds of things in here that I don't get to use that often that maybe need to go. Intros, and I need to do like this organization that I just don't have time to do. I figure one day I'll write an AI that'll go organize, put all my intros in one basket, put all my, you know, how would it know it's an intro though, right? Unless I label it right. I don't know. I'm digressing. But yeah, so much to go through and maneuver around and change around, and you know. But what's important is to understand what winning is all about, right? And winning is showing up to win, unrigging the game, hitting the root cause issues. But yeah, show them just kind of explain to them why Bernie Sanders didn't win, right? It's the fact that even though he had the majority of the base, but with the super delegates, and go, you know, here's another thing, go look up who the super delegates are. That's very eye opening. You can do that too because they're permanent. You know, Bill Clinton's a super delegate. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of interesting people that are super delegates for the Democrat Party. Go take a look at Jimmy Carter was one of them. He's gone now, so he's not. I guess got a seat to fill. Probably fill it with Barack. I mean, Barack was probably already one of them too. They give super delegate status to all their old useful idiots, their old puppets. They all get it. See, I love Ron Paul. I hated at the time that Fox News was convincing people, Republicans, that Mitt Romney and Rick Santorum were winning debates when Ron. Yep. That was one of the biggest hurdles we fought, man. That's one of the biggest things we fought was the mainstream media. And that's what separated Donald Trump from Ron Paul. And you didn't know it until you saw it. We thought, well, when Ron Paul would call out the corruption in the media, and when he would call it the unfairness, he would do it in this kindly, grandfatherly way, right? And everybody would cheer and everybody would go nuts for it, right? And that would be the end of it. And then they try to convince everybody he was an anti-Semite. Who do you think came up with that one? That was a neocon plot, right? But it could be farther from the truth. Every time I was like, I try them type was, it almost always spells. Okay, well, don't worry. I know what you mean then. Okay, I know what you mean then. That Q and that A are really close to each other there. So don't you worry about that. Yeah, Ron Paul should have been reported on truthfully. Yeah, absolutely, Scott. He should have. It was unfair. I don't know that looking back, I mean, blessings in disguises. I look at all the good that he did. I look at how much progress and how he laid the foundation for where we are now. And I acknowledge him for that, right? I make sure that people understand that he reinvigorated the philosophy of liberty in an entire new generation. He's responsible for a lot of these people that are now active today. He backed a lot of people that are in the Congress and in the Senate now. And he created people like me, and there's a lot of us out there that are still loyal and still appreciative of everything he's done, and will always speak kindly of him. But he didn't have what it took past a certain point. Donald Trump came in, took the baton, and ran it through. He had the intangibles that Ron didn't have, but Ron laid the foundation in a way that I don't believe Trump could have done. Right? You don't see Trump out there making speeches about the philosophy of liberty and what our rights and where they come from and what they really mean, right? But you got 8 years of Ron Paul doing that. You got 8 years of that type of education going into new generations that are rising up and choosing constitutionality and choosing liberty and choosing freedom and choosing the good side against the corrupt establishment. And that's what he did. He created a grassroots movement that was ready for something. And I believe a lot of us were going to, give Rand a try. We didn't really know what to do in 2016. And then here comes Trump. And suddenly Trump's doing everything. He's taken on the establishment at a higher level in a more aggressive way, which was what we needed at the time. And that's what, I know there were some Ron Paul people that just could never get over it. And there's a lot of hardliners because Ron Paul was a mixed bag of paleoconservative constitutionalists and hardcore libertarians, and we got along great under that umbrella. But there's also a lot of things that there were some disagreements on it, inevitably, and they couldn't get their hands around the fact that they couldn't get their heads around the fact until recently, until the last election, that Trump was anti-establishment. Like they just couldn't deal with it. They couldn't see. Some people just can't get over the money. They can't get over the money or the background, or that someone can wake up and realize that they've been mixed into this corrupt establishment narrative their entire life and not see outside the cage until it's time to see outside the cage, right? But for anybody who's done it, they can probably empathize with the situation. Let me see. Disney control Fox. I remember watching the Ron Paul debates and seeing Fox News ignore his clear victories. Yep, that's how they did it. They ignored him. They downplayed it. They said he wasn't winning when he was. They misreported primaries. They misreported them. They tried everything. They tried everything they could to stop us, and inevitably they did. Do you remember that watching the RNC conventions when they started voting on stuff and there was more nays than yays, but yet they still passed it because the neocons were in charge. They were fake Republicans or rhinos, Republican in name only. That's what that shit is all about, man. Those guys were corrupt to the core, and Trump did what we couldn't accomplish in the Ron Paul revolution. Is that he kicked down that door, he broke that glass ceiling for true resistance, true dissidence, and for the anti-establishment. And he sent those neocons and rhinos running. Of course, some of them stuck around thinking they were going to be able to fight, resist, obstruct, and they did for a good amount of time. They did that based on his greenness, right? They get the blessing of 2020, which is a tragedy at the time, and it's still a scar in America. However, that extra 4 years made a big difference. Look at the team we got now. Look at how much Trump's learned. Look at his dedication and look at his growth, his intelligence, his political IQ, his knowledge of true nature of reality growing day by day. Look at all these great solutions he has on the table now they didn't have on there then, right? Look at all the eye-opening 4 years of absolute desolate corruption by some of the most evil people on earth did to wake people up and wake people up in communities that were siloed away, into an establishment narrative echo chamber of bad guy white and Trump bad and they're out to get you and wokeism and fake bullshit history and all things like that. These people were all coming around, waking up. True role model leadership in the Black community, like Brandon Tatum and Greg Foreman and other people like that, help trailblaze a way, and they're still doing it today. God bless them for that. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to take a step back, take two steps forward. When you fall down, it's how you get up, right? And that was 2020. But yeah, here we are now, and they'll never be able to do this again. And that's the thing. That's the thing I told people too. That used to be like, more philosophical king followers, right? Even Bernie Sanders people, Ron Paul people that didn't get on board right away with the direction of the anti-establishment, where it was going. I said, look, if you ever want to have be able to even consider, like reasonably consider and have them have a chance of winning a presidency, when these philosopher kings, right? Which is what I called, like, Ron Paul, Bernie Sanders, different philosophies. Obviously, Ron Paul had the right one and Bernie Sanders had the wrong one. But philosopher kings, right? They're more benevolent, they're more gentle in their approach, and they're not, Bernie Sanders himself wasn't out there calling out the corruption, right? He was just pander slander, right? Ron Paul was calling out the corruptions, but in a kindly, grandfatherly way, as he would explain to you the philosophies of liberty. And I love talking about this in monetary policy, right? It's two favorite things. And he would, I said, if you ever want to have a chance at people like that to be able to run it and legitimately become a nominee and president, you need a Trump. You need a Trump right now. You need a bull in a china shop who's willing to go in there, charging, snort smoke out of both nostrils. Sam, he had to wreck this establishment and reset everything, right? Reform everything, reset it, and so that we have a fair and balanced system as best we possibly can, holding evil at bay, keeping, eventually dissolving and dissolving the ideological subversion of cultural Marxism in our society, so that we have clear minds. That's part of where we come in with the solution culture, and hopefully others. I know other people are out there working on the solution. What's up, Lefty? How you doing? Good to see you. Ron Paul was everything that everyday Americans claimed that they wanted, and they can't. Yet the news was so easily able to keep people. That's because it was just the awakening part of it. It was just a day. It was the day and time. It was the day and time of where we were at in the awakening process. There's only a handful of us that were out there, and some of us that were out there, we were all trying to figure out the second veil at that point, the alternative narrative. A lot of pitfalls, a lot of rabbit holes, a lot of people getting sucked into conspiracy groups that were discrediting them, and a lot of groups taking that way far, and doing the work for the establishment, whether they realized it or not. They called themselves truthers, and they were both truth and alien, and the alien rabbit hole realm, and also other realms of complete abyss type points of view on the world. Everything is fake, everything's a cruiser, everything's a CIA, so everything's this, everything's that. So when you're trying to recruit people away, and pull people out of the establishment narrative by just saying, hey, look, the mainstream media is propagating you, lying to you. There's this thing called ideological subversion. It's been there. We were born into it. It's okay. We all got fooled by it, but now it's time to realize what it is and kind of come with us, right? But then you pile on a bunch of conspiracy groups, and they're like, you're freaking crazy. I'm not listening to you. And they go running back, and they're even more strongly entrenched in the establishment narrative now. And I witnessed that, and unfortunately, I was part of that in some ways way back in the beginning when we're trying to figure this stuff out. And as we branched off, there became those who realized this and became part of the base crowd, a more base crowd, And that still when sometimes falls back on these old grips to get to re-vet your belief system, go back and look and check on these things if you still believe in them and see where you're going to stand today. Give yourself another chance to make a decision about it. You'll find a lot of these topics in my Unveiling Reality playlist where I've covered them. My experience, I've been doing this almost 2 decades now. So I've been in there. And to answer your question again, or to make a comment on your statement, Blue, the time was there. You had a handful. You had half the people or less that were aware of the corruption and the false left-right paradigm of the establishment and how they were truly operating and what they were truly trying to do. And at the time, that was Agenda 21, which we were again screaming at the top of our lungs to stop, but having much less effect than we do today. And a lot of it had to do with the mud and the waters, right? But it was all part of the learning process. All part of the learning process. Now more people are escaping the abyss. They're choosing reality-based truth. They're choosing to be solution-minded and not live in fear. And as that escalates, as that grows and grows and grows, it's a better place to be, and it's the right place to be. So as that grows and grows and grows, our credibility will grow as well. MAGA helps out a lot with that, as having taken on the system and won twice now. We have hope. We know that it can be done. So it's just a matter of keeping it based, staying focused on solutions, and then working in those preventative measures for generations to come so we don't repeat this cycle again. Because inevitably, even as we rise to the top, right, we run the risk of repeating the cycle again. And every time we repeat the cycle, it gets worse. I mean, think about how bad it got this time. We had children being scarred for life, right, being and with government backing, right? Groomers in schools. People that shouldn't be around children being allowed around children. Our borders open. This is the worst cycle we've been through. Like, you think about all the cycles we've been through with this corrupt establishment as we try to rise and back over top of them and bring integrity and honesty back to our government, to really give our government and our constitution an honest chance to be what it's supposed to be. There's always going to be those dirty people, those dirty Marxists, those dirty people that are out there those people that work under the energy and the ideas of evil, authoritarianism, false altruism, the global ownership class, the mega donor class, these people that are elitists that believe they're better than you and me. There's always going to be those people out there trying to corrupt and subvert our system. That's why solution culture is so important. That's why we have to, this time, be understanding and be willing to put in preventative measures to stop them up front, no matter what it is. We have to think about those before we get there, right? We have to make sure that we start talking about that. And we'll be doing a lot of that this year and a lot of that for years to come on this channel. And there you go. That's it. But yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. And, it really was. It's like, he was appealing to a lot of people. Ron Paul was, in the sense that he was honest. I was like, well, at this point we had this like Bush, a Clinton, Bush. And it's like, don't you want to have an honest president? Somebody, when they speak, you can believe them, and we'll get there. We'll get there. And I think we're going to see those type of presidents follow the solution, reforming, take no shit, take no prisoners, Trump years, right? And this is going to be for the best of these years coming up, where everything that I just said is going to be realized in spades. So there we have it. There we have it. Give me 1 second. One last thing I got to do before we go. All right. So there we have it. Pinned in the chat is the links to Rumble and X if you want to come with us to read chapters 11 through 13 of part 3, the NSA and intelligence community, and the book Government Gangsters by Kash Patel. It's an amazing book. I hope you guys will do it. Rand seems to have picked up Dad's mantle too. Kinda. I mean, kinda. He's doing good work where he's at. I wish I hope he lands in the spot he is supposed to be in to help the best way he can. I would have loved to have him as vice president the first run instead of Pence. Like, I think Rand would have been awesome. But again, Trump was green. He's not perfect. He's a human, makes mistakes. He was green. But before we go, let's do this. Let's do this. Talking Trash and Truth, $5 super chat. Ask and you shall receive. Thank you for your support of the channel and for their awesome super chat there. And we are now fully ready to jump off of YouTube and stay on Rumble and X for the reading of tonight's book, for the chapters of tonight's book. So there we go. That it is. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out to the kickoff show here on the YouTube side and making this thing happen. We went a little bit long tonight, but thank you for the great conversations. You inspired me to keep on talking and keep on getting into one of my favorite topics, Ron Paul, the good old days, how we got from here to from there to here. And hopefully it was a good education or a good understanding or a good story for a lot of folks that hadn't heard it before and weren't aware of some of those points. So anyways, I hope that inspired. Hey, Snipe, what's up? We're coming your way, man. Hold us down over there on Rumble. Hold us down. We're coming right over there. Jacob Castro's over there. Heidi's over there. Remember, when you go over there, make sure you hit thumbs up and say hello in the chat so I know you're there. And we're gonna jump right into this. So don't dilly dally. We need you to be on over there and ready to rock and roll. There we go. I'm already got my cloud player ready and everything. All right, let's head on over, guys. So thanks again for everybody who came to the YouTube kickoff show, and I hope to see you over on the other side. Until next time, YouTube. Later.
Man, everyone's tensed up for a rumble.